Luxury cruise suites seem like a ripoff until standard cabin passengers see their final bill. Today, we're calculating whether the upgrade is actually worth it. On a mainstream cruise line, a standard balcony cabin costs around $3,000, give or take, for 2 passengers on a 7-night cruise. The suite in the same setup costs around $8,000 on average. So according to my calculations, the suite is about $5,000 more expensive, right? Not necessarily. Once a balcony passenger adds drinks, Wi-Fi, specialty dining, gratuities, and other benefits already included with certain suites, that $5,000 difference can shrink to less than half. Let's price it out. Let's start with the drink package. Many luxury suite programs include some sort of beverage package, covering all or a combination of alcoholic drinks, soda, bottled water, specialty coffee, and other premium beverages. For our calculation, we are assuming that both passengers would have purchased the complete beverage package. For 2 adults on a 7-night cruise, that can easily cost approximately $1,000. So if a comparable beverage package is included with the suite, that represents a legitimate $1,000 value. Now, does that mean that every passenger should include the entire amount? Obviously not. If you normally would skip the beverage package and spend approximately $300 purchasing drinks a la carte, then use $300 in your calculation. And of course, if you primarily only drink beverages that are included in your base cruise fare, then the package would provide very little financial value to you. For our comparison, we are assuming that both passengers would purchase the full beverage package. So after subtracting the $1,000 value, the difference between your standard cabin and suite drops from $5,000 to about $4,000. Next, we have the Wi-Fi. Many suite programs include some sort of Wi-Fi privilege. An internet package for 2 people over a 7-night cruise can cost approximately $300. So if both passengers need to connect to the internet package and would have purchased it anyway, count the entire $300. But of course, if you plan to disconnect for the week, or if only one passenger would opt in, the number would obviously be less. That drops our difference from $4,000 to about $3,700. Now let's price out priority access. Most luxury suites include priority check-in, priority boarding, priority tender access when available, and expedited disembarkation at the end of the cruise. Standard cabin passengers can oftentimes purchase a priority package on several cruise lines. For a 7-night cruise, those generally cost around $175 per cabin. Now, that may not sound significant compared with the price of a suite, but priority access affects multiple parts of your sailing, not only embarkation day. It can save you tons of time at ports, boarding the ship, and of course, leaving on the final morning. Because similar priority packages would cost around $175, we can subtract that amount from the suite upgrade. That brings our difference down from $3,700 to $3,525. Next, let's combine spa access and included activities. Depending on the cruise line and the ship, suite guests may receive access to the thermal spa suite, private saunas or wellness amenities already embedded in the private suite areas, or complimentary activities that would normally cost extra. For example, the MSC Yacht Club and Virgin Voyages Mega Rockstar includes access to the thermal spa areas. Some Norwegian Haven complexes already have spa amenities embedded in the private areas, and certain Royal Caribbean and Celebrity cruises include onboard activities. Although the exact value varies dramatically, let's estimate these benefits costing approximately $300. So after subtracting that $300, that brings our remaining difference from $3,525 to $3,225. Of course, this category depends heavily on the ship and if you would actually utilize those amenities. So if your suite includes no spa access or onboard activities, leave that amount out completely. Now, let's group specialty dining, laundry, and gratuities together because these benefits vary per cruise line. Some suites include unlimited specialty dining, while others only provide a separate suite restaurant, which we will talk about later. Some include daily gratuities, while others charge suite guests a higher service charge. Laundry may be unlimited, limited to a certain amount of items, or not included at all. For suite programs that include all three, the combined value for 2 passengers can be quite a chunk of change. So specialty dining can be about $400, gratuities can be about $250, and laundry services can be about $50. That gives us an estimated value of $700. So although some suite programs do include all three, such as Royal Caribbean Star Class, other programs typically only include 1 or 2, or sometimes none. So using our full $700 would make the hypothetical suite look a little bit more inclusive than it actually is. Instead, we will use a blended value of about $375 for 2 passengers on a 7-night cruise. This brings a remaining suite premium from $32.25 to $28.50. However, this is one category that you need to adjust by suite. If only 1 or 2 of these benefits are included, subtract only their individual value. And I will be making more price breakdowns per actual cruise line if you're interested. Next is complimentary room service. Some cruise lines charge standard cabin passengers a delivery fee each time they order room service. However, they waive the fee for suite guests. So if that fee averages about $10 and you order room service about 2 times during your stay, complimentary delivery can save you about $20. And I understand that's not as much as our heavy hitters, like the drink package in this comparison, but I feel the need to include that. So our average goes from $20.50 to $28.30. So that means the real calculation is this. The average suite costs about $8,000 and the average balcony costs about $3,000, which makes our initial difference $5,000. But the balcony passengers would have purchased approximately $2,170 in additional services. So their true balcony experience would have cost about $5,170. Now compare that with the $8,000 suite. The real upgrade cost is $28.30. For 2 people over 7 nights, that is approximately $200 per person per day. That completely changes the question. So you are no longer deciding whether you should spend $5,000 for an upgrade. You are now deciding whether you should pay $200 per person per day for more space, a better cabin, private areas, priority benefits, personalized service, sometimes a butler, sometimes a concierge, and everything else that a balcony cabin passenger cannot purchase separately. For some passengers, that is an excellent upgrade. For others, it is still about $2,800 on things that they do not necessarily need. So let's bring up the benefits that we cannot actually price. This is where most of the is the suite worth it calculations either become dishonest or completely subjective. Certain benefits have obvious prices. I mean, we know what a drink package costs. We know what Wi-Fi, dining, gratuities, and spa access normally cost. But what is a private pool deck worth? What is a concierge worth? How much should we pay for avoiding embarkation line? What is the actual value of a separate living room and dining room? There is no universal answer. Those are not necessarily financial savings. They are experiential benefits, and they need to be evaluated separately. So let's talk about the additional space. The most obvious suite benefit is space. A balcony cabin averages about 180 to 250 square feet. A suite on average starts at about 400 square feet. However, it can span to several thousand square feet. But more square footage is not automatically valuable to everyone. I mean, if you leave your room immediately upon waking up and return only to sleep, you may barely utilize the additional space. But if you order breakfast from your room, work during your cruise, spend afternoons on your balcony, or need separation from your travel companion, the larger suite can completely change your vacation. Plus, the private suite only areas can make this upgrade worth it. Let's start with the private restaurants. Many suite programs include access to a private restaurant. This can mean fewer guests, more personalized service, more flexible dining time, a quieter environment, as well as staff who quickly quickly become familiar with your preferences. You could technically use specialty dining as a rough financial comparison, but of course, it is not a perfect replacement. A standard cabin passenger may be able to purchase dinner at a specialty restaurant, but they usually cannot purchase access to the suite-only restaurant for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that additional value is completely personal. If you enjoy the complimentary dining room, this may not matter for you. But if crowded restaurants and rigid dining times annoy you, the private restaurant may become one of the most valuable benefits. Then we have the private lounges and pool decks. Depending on the cruise line and the ship, you may have access to a private lounge, a private bar, a private pool, hot tubs, a sun deck, or an entire ship within a ship complex. On a crowded cruise, those private spaces can substantially improve your experience. You may avoid fighting for a pool chair, waiting for a long bar line, or searching for somewhere quiet to relax. But private does not always mean empty. Suite pool decks can absolutely get crowded during peak times on sea days. I have seen it plenty of times. Plus, suite lounges can become packed during happy hour, private events, or just during peak times by random suite guests or non-suite guests who are also allowed access into the suite lounge. Plus, private restaurants can still experience busy times and also have bland food. Cruise marketing may show one happy couple sitting alone by a completely empty pool deck, but your sailing may look completely different. Now, let's talk about the butler and concierge service. Personalized service can range from mildly convenient to completely transformative. Depending on the cruise line, a butler or concierge might deliver meals, bring snacks, make reservations, organize special occasions, resolve problems, escort you all around the ship, secure entertainment seating, create an entire itinerary, or communicate with you throughout the entire cruise. But different cruise lines have different job descriptions for a butler and concierge. You will not receive uniform service when going from cruise line to cruise line. Plus, two separate passengers in completely identical suites within the same cruise line on the same ship can have completely different experiences depending on who is assigned to them. And some passengers barely utilize the service, if at all. The word butler sounds luxurious until you experience some of them. Consider what the butler or concierge can actually do for you based on their job description and whether you will genuinely utilize them. But I do have to say, one unusual exception is Royal Caribbean, which offers personalized Royal Genie services to non-suite guests that can be purchased separately on ships without a star class category. The Royal Genie package can be priced at approximately $300 per adult per day, $200 per child over the age of 6 per day, and complimentary for children under the age of 6. However, that price also includes drinks, specialty dining, Wi-Fi, and other VIP benefits. So we cannot assign the package's full price to the Royal Genie alone. Then let's discuss other priority benefits. Priority benefits can be extremely valuable, but the word priority is quite vague. Priority embarkation might mean being escorted personally through security and past every single line. Or it might just mean standing in a smaller line than everyone else. Priority disembarkation might mean being escorted personally off the ship. Or it might mean getting an earlier luggage tag number. Reserved entertainment seating can place you in the best seats in the house. Or it might just be a large section off to the side. And priority port access might work wonderfully at one destination and then completely disappear at the next. So this benefit really just depends on the cruise line, the itinerary, and sometimes even the specific ship. Now, let's apply our calculation to 3 different types of cruisers, because the same $8,000 suite can be an excellent value for one couple and an enormous waste of money for another. Let's start with passenger number 1. The minimalist. The first couple drinks occasionally. They do not purchase Wi-Fi. They are completely content with the complimentary restaurant. They pack 7 nights of clothes and rarely ever order room service. Their realistic additional spending could have only been drinks for $200, one specialty dinner for $150, and gratuities for $150, which equals around $500. And if you add that to a balcony fare averaging around $3,000, That's only about $3,500. So compared to an $8,000 suite, their true upgrade cost is about $4,500. For 2 people over 7 nights, that is approximately $321 per person per day. For this couple, the suite needs to deliver a substantial improvement. Now let's move on to passenger number 2, which is the average cruiser. The second couple purchases some extras, but not everything. They may buy several drinks, one internet plan, a few specialty meals, and pay their normal gratuities. Their real extras total approximately $1,250. Add that to a $3,000 balcony, that's about $4,250. Compared to an $8,000 suite, their true upgrade cost is approximately $3,750. And for 2 people over 7 nights, that is approximately $267 per person per night. Now, that decision heavily depends on how much they value the suite, the private areas, as well as the priority extras. It is not necessarily a bargain, but it may be a worthwhile luxury. Now, our final example is a family of 4, 2 adults and 2 children, who plan to purchase almost everything. They want beverage packages, Wi-Fi, specialty dining, gratuities, laundry, room service, and other included extras. Their realistic additional spending might be about $2,050. And since it's now a family, let's say that our hypothetical balcony cabin costs about $4,000. So that brings their total balcony experience to a little bit over $6,000. When you compare that to a suite, that means that their true upgrade cost is about $2,000. So that is about $71 per person per night. I mean, for more space, private areas, priority benefits, and personalized service, that can honestly represent an excellent upgrade. I mean, the family already intended on spending a lot of the difference. However, the suite simply bundles it into a more elevated experience. Now, ask yourself, how much am I willing to pay for a larger room, private areas, and priority service? Is a luxury cruise suite worth upgrading to? Sometimes. I mean, for passengers already purchasing drinks, Wi-Fi, specialty dining, and other extras, it can totally be worthwhile because the true upgrade cost might not be that much of a difference. So before upgrading, do your own math and decide whether the upgrade is actually worth the price, because the suite will almost always be better. But the real question is better enough? Let me know in the comment section down below. How much more per person per day would you be willing to spend for an upgrade? And if you like luxury cruise content, hit that subscribe button. I've already done the MSC Yacht Club, the Norwegian Haven, and the Royal Caribbean Star class this year. And I have the Celebrity Retreat, Virgin Voyages Mega Rockstar, and actual luxury cruise lines coming up next. Let's see which suite program is actually worth the money, because I don't do basic and neither should you.